let's do it. Hey everyone, it's the Drum Guy here, and I decided to do a video about inspirational drummers, in my opinion, the ones that inspire me.
Because everyone gives a shit about my opinion.
So I decided to do this video alongside my drum cover videos, I guess in a way to let you guys get to know me a bit better, because I need friends. As a drummer, inspirational drummers is obviously something I want to talk about. So we're going to go through a few drummers that inspire me. Now, quick disclaimer, this is not me trying to say any drummers are better than other drummers. If I don't mention a drummer that you particularly like, then deal with it. But in all seriousness, this is my opinion. These are the ones that influenced me. I thought my opinion was better than yours, and that's why I decided to put it on the internet. God, I hate myself. So we'll start with, this is in no particular order, by the way. We'll start with Mike Portnoy. Yes, he is probably a really cliche name to say when it comes to inspirational drummers, but to be honest, he is an inspiration to a lot of people. The way his kits have looked over the years, with his double bass setup with his single setup on the side, to the music that he plays. So for example, with Dream Theater, the three songs I used to love listening to was The Spirit Carries On, Nightmare to Remember, and Dance of Eternity. Dance to Eternity specifically is, in my opinion, just a musical masterpiece. It's like, what, a 6 to 8 minute song or something like that, of just pure musical genius. If you are a drummer, I really encourage you to listen to Dance of Eternity, if you haven't already. If you're listening to me thinking, what the hell is Dance of Eternity, I really, really recommend you go and listen to that song. Now, there are probably a lot of people who are listening thinking, well, Dance of Eternity by Mike Portnoy is actually an easy song to play, and that's nothing compared to a lot of other drummers. I get what you're saying, but again, this is something in my opinion. The way I discovered Mike Portnoy was when he first became the replacement drummer in Avenged Sevenfold after the passing of Jimmy the Rev Sullivan. Also, what's really cool about him is if you go on to YouTube, he actually has a few videos of drum kit tours where he'll explain his drum kit, the cymbals he uses, and the actual drums he uses, and it just goes throughout the whole kit. And in my opinion, I love it when a drummer does that, because not that you want to copy them, but they may be so much of an inspiration that you want to see what kind of stuff they're using, the gear that they are using. And when a drummer does a drum kit tour, which I really enjoy watching, I love drum kit tour videos, he's got a few of them, so I really suggest you go check it out. Next on the list for inspirational drummers from me, we have Michael Moose Thomas. He was the drummer for Bullet for My Valentine until, unfortunately, he left. A lot of people are probably thinking, how the hell can he be an inspirational drummer? Bullet for My Valentine was one of the first metal bands I got into. I first heard Waking the Demon. I think that was one of the first songs I heard by them, was Waking the Demon on Kerrang TV. Oh my god, it was amazing. I loved it. I fell in love with the song. However, when Michael left, it did kind of suck for me. I hate it when a drummer leaves a band. He's got his own new project, Kill the Lights, going on, which I've checked out their stuff, and I think it's really cool, and I can't wait. I believe at the moment the album still hasn't dropped that's coming from them, and I can't wait to check it out. But the reason he's an inspiration to me is he was one of the first metal drummers I really got into. I think the reason why I connected with him by watching his videos is the fact he's left-handed just like me. When I started playing drums, I found it really difficult because I am naturally left-handed, and I was never taught there was a difference between left and right-handed drum kits until I was actually 3 years into taking drum lessons. Obviously, if you watch his stuff, you can still tell he plays on a right-handed drum kit. However, he plays a style known as open-handed, and me being left-handed, I thought that was kind of cool. So I taught myself how to play open-handed. I wouldn't say I've mastered the open-hand technique. There's some fills that when I'm playing open hand it throws me off, because obviously now my right hand is playing on the snare instead of my left hand, and it can sort of throw me off. So the reason why he's an inspiration to me is one of the first metal drummers I got into, and the open-handed technique. And to be honest, when I watch a drummer, and a technique they used I've actually managed to pick up really goes a long way for me in terms of inspirational wise, because if you think about it, there's a whole new style of playing that I've learned from watching said drummer. So next on the list is going to be a bit of a surprise because he's not a metal drummer, but I never said all these drummers were going to be metal drummers, and that is Tré Cool from Green Day. Before I got into the metal music genre, I was heavily into pop punk, and Green Day was just a band that I just clicked with. Some of the beats I loved, like Know Your Enemy, the intro beat. To me, that was like, what the hell is this? I had to learn it. And a lot of the first songs that I learned on the drums, 9 times out of 10, were going to be a Green Day song. Know Your Enemy, Holiday, Boulevard of Broken Dreams, Jesus of Suburbia. Yes, Tré Cool, Green Day, and what I also loved was the fact he didn't use his name. It was a stage name, and that heavily sort of influenced me as well when I eventually started getting into some bands of my own in school and out of school, because at the time I was still in secondary school, or for you American, high school. There was just something about it that I was like, I don't want to use my actual name, I want to use a stage name. Hence why even YouTube, I call myself the Drum Guy. I don't use my name like some other channels do. So number 4, James Cassels from Asking Alexandria. Now the reason I put him on this list is because of the style of music he played. At the time, when I was first getting into metal music, I was listening to like Bullet for My Valentine, Avenged Sevenfold. When metalcore first was really sort of breaking out, I wasn't the fan of it. I wasn't fan of like the over screamed songs. Like, I know Bullet for My Valentine's scream in their songs, but like the ones where you get like the deep screams to the really high screams, and also the electronics, I was heavily against using club music, as I used to call it, club music in metal. I just was so close-minded, I didn't like it. And it wasn't until I actually decided to go listen to Final Episode, you know what, I kind of dig it. And it influenced my whole... In my opinion, if it wasn't for me actually getting into Asking Alexandria, I don't think I would have got into metalcore as much as I did. I probably would have stayed on like the cliff edge of metal and not venturing further in. And the reason I mentioned James Cassels is the way he plays in terms of... So the whole like doing weird double kick patterns with the guitar following it to get that sort of, as people say, generic metalcore sound. When I was in bands, I wouldn't write songs that had that stuff until I got into Asking Alexandria. Also, I believe, I'm not too sure if he does anymore, but I think at the time he used Axis A longboards as his pedals, and that's what I now use. He was a very inspirational drummer in terms of actually, I credit him and Asking Alexandria to further me into the metalcore genre and opening my mind. I was very close-minded. So we'll come on to number 5, and this person is probably the biggest inspiration for me in drumming. Yeah, and that is Jimmy the Rev Sullivan. The Rev takes the cake. He's at the top. I don't know what it was, but something really clicked with me to latch on to the way his character, the way he was, his personality, and the way he drummed. From his iconic triple bass drum kit, if you watch the live at the any stuff from live at the LBC, to the way he was. When I was in school, I actually copied his hairstyle. I actually learned to twirl a drumstick because I watched the Afterlife music video, and there's a bit where he twirls the sticks, and then they pointed at the bass guitarist. Again, with his stage name, The Rev, like I was mentioning with Tré Cool and stage names and so on, when I practice on my drum kit, there's a lot of Avenged Sevenfold songs I'll just play. Afterlife is one of my favourites, and who can forget Almost Easy with the iconic double ride fill. I watched the Almost Easy music video where he did the double ride. I was sold. That was it. I was like, oh my god, that to me that was like the best thing I ever saw. I was like, whoa, look at this. And if you actually look at my drum cover videos, you'll notice that my drum kit is kind of inspired by the Rev. I have a ride cymbal on both sides, and it's high up. I know there's a lot of drummers who have 2 ride cymbals, but some people have a ride cymbal lower down. Mine's quite high up. You can't really see because of the camera angle, but my cymbals on my right hand side are also very high up because I do intend to put my floor toms on the rack, just like the Rev did with his triple bass drum kit. I also do intend to have 3 bass drums. Call me a copycat. I don't care. When I heard of his passing, I was absolutely devastated that I'll never ever see Avenged Sevenfold live with the Rev playing. But the Hail to the King album just felt very meh to me. Obviously the musical direction they took, but the Rev weren't there, man. And you could argue that the Rev wasn't there on the Nightmare album, but he still kind of was, you know. You heard his vocals. Some of the beats were actually wrote by the Rev, and Mike Portnoy just had to record them, but obviously Mike threw his own spin on it. I don't know, the Nightmare album I still class as a Rev era album because he did kind of still work on it. Obviously the self-titled album was pretty much the last full Rev era album, but I do class Nightmare as a Rev era one because he did have some influence on that album. There we go, there's my inspiration. I think I did 5, so we'll say top 5 inspirational drummers in my opinion that influenced me. So comment down below and tell me what some of your inspirational drummers are. Maybe it's some of the ones I mentioned. Maybe it's people like Nicko McBrain from Iron Maiden, CC from Black Veil Brides. Tell me why. I'd love to hear why a certain drummer inspired you the way that they inspired you. Also, don't forget to please hit that like button, subscribe, and a cheeky share of the video wouldn't go amiss. Just saying. Please subscribe. I'm trying to build this channel up to be a music related channel. I've got ideas for series to do in the future, and I'll probably do them regardless if this channel gets off the ground or not. Also, shameless plug, I have an Instagram as well, so go to Instagram and go to The Drum Guy Official, and that will take you to my Instagram page where it's pretty much going to be the most updates for this channel. Thank you everybody for watching. My name is The Drum Guy. See you later.